Welcome to part 2 of my recent sit-down camera time with the man himself, Bert Taylor, the inventor, the creator of the Vistabule Teardrop trailer. Hey, Vistabuler, Steve McClelland here, and as I said, this is part 2. So if you have not already seen part 1, go back and do that now. You need to find out if Bert calls us Vistabulers or Vistabulists. And you get to watch Bert jump 6 feet over a campfire at night. No, he doesn't do that. He does something much more spectacular than that. Anyway, let's get on with part 2. So we're talking about the trailer then now, and I'll tell you that in order to get into our Facebook group, Vistabule Teardrop Enthusiasts, you need to answer 2 questions, and one of them is what interests you in the Vistabule. And the most frequent comment we get is fit and finish. And I can tell you that every surface, every piece of wood is so smooth and so nicely finished, you're never going to get a splinter in here. Simple question. Are you a perfectionist?
No. No, I'm not.
Would your wife and daughter say that you're a perfectionist?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
I mean, I do think that, you know, I've been saying as a joke, but not really, is that we should have a sign up saying, be a little anal. Because, you know, it pays to pay attention. I need to take things to the nth degree. I noticed in the designing of the Vistabule that if I don't pay attention to a corner that's a 1/16 of an inch off, I know that that's going to come back to haunt me later. I mean, something as minor as that.
Yeah.
So, and then there's so many things like that some of them get left behind, and you have to come back to them later. I'm more about the process of building them. So, for example, there's infrastructure in the trailer, like the 2x2 struts that go across where you don't see them. All of those, the edges are have an 1/8 inch round over, and they're finished. And because when you're working with lumber or working with parts, I just don't like sharp edges.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's perfectionist to
just take care of that ahead of time.
To take that sharpness off, because it takes away from the pleasure of doing a project.
I'm hearing a lot about the fit and finish, but you've done your market research and you've had opportunity to talk to your customers over the years. What is the #1 selling feature of the Vistabule trailer?
I think it's the window. It's the large window, the large door. A lot of people are, love the couch, being able to sit there and gaze out the window, and that's what I thought I was doing. But some people go, I never turned the couch into the bed into a couch, and I think they're missing a big part of the experience.
Very rarely for me, but
because this is how we travel by default. During the day, it's like this, because there's many times during the day, whether you're on the road traveling or you're in your campsite, a lot of times where you want to sit there comfortably before the end of the day. At the end of the day, then you put it down into a bed. But the whole point was to make a comfortable place to sit and observe nature.
The very first trailer that you built, I took a good hard look at it for half an hour while I was there at the Nest home office, what do we call it? the factory. And I noticed how little your trailers have changed over the years. You may not feel that way, but I know you've modified cabinets, you've improved things, the table, the door table, you've definitely improved things, and I'm not saying you haven't. But what I'm saying is the curve of the trailer, the shape of the trailer, the height of the cabinets has changed so little. How long did you plan that original trailer to get that so right?
I think it took about 6 months. I was really playing with 2 different trailers. One that was more blunt on the front, more traditional teardrop shape, and then one was my own version of what would be my best, my dream trailer. And I was playing with them, doing a lot of drawings, and it was very difficult to get the proper curve aesthetically to fit within this 4 or 5 by 10 parametric.
Sure. And also to fit the window,
to clear the cupboards, to not have wasted space.
Yeah, and that
A
was a
lot
very
involved.
difficult part of the design. So that really hasn't changed. The shape of the trailer has not changed at all. The width of it hasn't changed at all. The counter has gone up to
Has
fit
it?
the refrigerator or the cooler. But most of the changes since then have been just minor tweaks that make it easier to build, or something that was clunky, or a hole was too big, or
I think I heard that you spent some time in some teardrops before you built your own.
I sat in a couple, but I really didn't know what they were until I saw some on the internet.
You've never had the pleasure of waking up in the middle of the night and banging your shins on the cupboard?
And I've never slept in a trailer.
But you've seen it,
other than my
obviously.
own.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I went and visited a factory where they built teardrops, and that was one of the things that just kind of turned me off to
Yeah.
teardrops.
Yeah.
That I don't want to put my feet under there, and I don't want to look at the back wall. I don't want to. This isn't a place where I'm just going to be sleeping.
Right.
I want it to be a base camp. I want it to be an observatory and a place where I can really be inside and not feel like I've wasted the day at all. If I'm inside one of those other ones, I'm feeling like I'm only in here because it's raining or because it's nighttime
In
now.
a coffin, I've heard you compare it to.
Well, coffin or
Some are
yeah, it's
dark and
or tent. You know, I mean, a
Yeah,
tent can be claustrophobic,
Yeah.
right? And you don't have very many places to put your stuff, and it gets cluttered, and it gets wet, and it's difficult to put away when when you're in a situation like that. So I just wanted it to be very airy and non-claustrophobic, and I like windows. And
Do you still use your first trailer?
actually, no.
No.
My nephew's living in it right now temporarily while he.
It's not in the shop.
Huh?
It's not in the shop.
It's not in the shop.
Okay.
He's living in it while he renovates a classic canned ham Shasta, like from the 50s.
Very
early
nice. Yeah, yeah.
50s.
I've actually heard of a few people who, were getting carpet in the whole house, and they just pull the vestibule out in the yard and set it up, and that's where we're staying for a couple days or something like that.
I like that idea.
I want you to resolve a little debate that has sprung up a few times. That first trailer that you still own is trailer number what?
I would say it's .9.
0.9.
Yeah.
So you sold number one to Stephanie Weiss.
Yes.
Your wife says that she has trailer number one.
She's got the first VIN number.
First, Gretchen called it the first trailer you sold.
Right.
Okay, so fair enough.
So
Debate
the
resolved.
first trailer, the first actual vestibule, has a shop, a home built license, so it doesn't even have a VIN number. And then the one before that was the project that I abandoned after about 3/4 of the way through it, and I thought this is not what I want to be building. So we now, and I don't have a trailer of my own. I just use whatever's in the showroom.
Are we going to see a Vistabule 2.0 with an even bigger window?
Actually, the first couple had a bigger window, but I realized it was outside the parameters of a 4x8 sheet, so I had to make it like an inch shorter or something.
Save a little money.
The doors also were wider, and I made them a little smaller to fit the standard dimensions of plywood. But we won't go. We don't need to. I was laying there last night, and I was thinking this window is the perfect size.
It is. I'll agree with you.
Now, maybe we would have a model that's a little longer, or maybe a little taller.
How are the secret plans for the Vistabule submarine coming along? Am I not supposed to talk about that?
We
can edit that out.
Okay.
We'll edit that in post.
The thing is that there's some things production-wise that we're trying to incorporate into the trailer. These are things that you won't notice so much as far as feature-wise, but as far as production-wise, the new trailers will have some things that will make it easier for us to build a better, faster trailer.
But it won't go underwater.
We were thinking about having a pontoon accessory
nice.
where you take the wheels off and
Like those party boats. Little
Yeah,
motor on the
you
back.
have to have a hitch on the back of your boat, though.
You could absolutely do that. What's in the future for you? You're not out there day to day running a drill and putting parts together, or are you?
I kind of do a bunch of little things that people I haven't bequeathed to somebody else in the shop to do. The things that they could easily do, but for some reason there's just still things on my plate. I say I have a superpower to kind of zero in on a problem that somebody might be having out in the shop. It's usually something that I've encountered, in the first 50 trailers that I built or whatever, and if I just spend a little time staring the problem down, I usually come up with a solution that doesn't come easily to maybe some of the people that work for me. But that, and then of course when I use that superpower, I have to go rest for a while.
You've built 305 trailers. These problems still creep up? Less often?
Less often, but there's something like we're hooking up a trailer to a car, and the cord isn't long enough, and please it won't. I look underneath and there's a kink here. Here, now you got an extra foot. Now it's no problem.
Okay.
So that's where I use my superpower.
Yeah. How about with the business? What's going to happen with the business? Are we going to see a trailer number 500, a trailer number 1,000? Or are you going to pull in your shingle at some point and say,
well,
I had a good run?
Lily says that trailer 500, I have to get a tattoo. So I'm not looking forward to that.
Is she telling you where you have to get the
No,
tattoo?
she hasn't told me that.
You'll make it to 500.
I'll probably make it to 500. That may only be 2 years away.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I would like to have a shop within the shop that is kind of where I can go tinker around with new ideas. But I would like to have time to just kind of do whatever I want to do.
But you're not selling to little guy.
What?
You're not selling to little guy?
No.
Just checking. I mean, they could probably make a real nice fiberglass version of this if you wanted, but let's not go there.
I don't know. I haven't had any offers.
Oh, yeah, everything has a price, right? Bert, congratulations again. Congratulations on the success of the business. Congratulations on this wonderful product. Congratulations on this weekend. You've got more than 45 trailers at this gathering in Minnesota. And more importantly, more than 100 people here. And they all have something in common, and that's your trailer. And that's got to be a really good feeling to you.
It is. It is.
To me, when I buy a Vistabule trailer, before we bought ours, and I think a lot of people say this coming in, I didn't just feel like I was suddenly part of this group of Vistabule owners. I suddenly felt like I was part of a Vistabule family, just accepted by all of your employees, all your workers, taking a picture on the way out the door, and then having this group of people come together and all have this in common. It's been fantastic. Thank you very much, Bert.
You're welcome.
Man, you almost saw me get choked up at the end there. Don't rewind it. Don't go watching back. It's over. You missed it. Can you imagine, though? More than 45 of these trailers that you've poured your blood, sweat, and tears into, all coming together in the same place for the weekend just because of you, because you're the guy who created them. I personally saw Bert get choked up at least 3 times over the weekend, and I don't blame him at all. And yet somehow he still managed to remain humble. I want to thank Bert for taking the time to sit down with me and answer some questions. These are questions that I've had for quite some time. Anyway, click like, click subscribe, click the thumbs up, click the bell, click the next video, click whatever the heck you want. I don't care. I'm Steve McClelland. We'll see you next time. Yeah, I was gonna say something about, the inventor himself of the Vistabule, Bert Taylor. I'll piece it together. I'll piece it together a little bit here, a little bit there. That's good enough. I'm not gonna sit out here in the freezing cold all friggin' night. At the recent rally in Vistabule, if you were to remove a piece of wood from one of these trailers, like the one that I'm totally standing. Shit. At the recent rally in Forestville, really? There's a
truck backing up in the middle of a state park here? Can we get that shut down or something?
Meryl, can you take it? I can't get everybody in here.
All right, I got to
Just, okay.
Your arm.
All right.
My arm goes way.
All right.
My arm's definitely better.
Okay. Hey, that's good. Look at us.
Ready? Nice.
Oh, yes!
Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson.